نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My brothers and sisters, once again welcome to this session of Quranic exegesis, Tafseer of the month of Ramadan, taking place here in AKTJ in Kano, Kano Teaching Hospital. We thank Allah, this is the 7th day of the month of Ramadan, slowly but surely. Yeah, soon you will hear Ramadan is no more. You begin to think of the subsequent Ramadan coming if your lives are spared. Yeah, so we thank Allah for that. Before then, let me share with you something that somebody posted on the importance of doing what is good to achieve, let me say, the good in the final analysis. Somebody, an expert in building engineering, had been in the services of a construction company. He built a lot of houses for the company to which he was an employee. The time for him to repair was fast approaching. The company had a plan. So the company approached the man, telling him, go and build a gigantic house, the like of which cannot be found or can scarcely be gotten, so to speak. But the man unfortunately had a different and negative thought. He built the house badly done, not well planned, haphazardly constructed, thinking that he was just being used by the company just to dump him. At the end of it, the leaders concerned at the company went to supervise the job and the work to make the final recommendation and analysis to the echelon in the company. But they were taken aback. They said, is that what you built? He said, yes. I said, okay. Our intention finally is to donate the house to you. That is our parting gift for you. When you build, we are going to pay you for the job well done, and then the house is going to be our own parting gift. But the way you did it is how you're going to get it. I don't know if it's clear to you. Have I communicated? Have I? What is the message there? The message to be driven from is that if you do good, you will get good. Man amila salihan falinafsi. If you pray the way it should be prayed, it's going to benefit you alone. If you do it haphazardly, you're going to see a haphazard result. To every action, there is reaction, they say. So I am saying, try to do things as appropriate as possible. Do things diligently, competently, scrupulously, if you really want to get the result from Allah the Almighty. We are now undergoing, Ramadanic sessions, fasting. Are you actually fasting? Or are you just undergoing excruciating hunger and thirst? You're fasting, but you're sending your eyes to things forbidden. You are fasting, but your hands are laid on things forbidden. You are fasting, so you claim, but your legs keep on carrying you to places forbidden by Allah the Almighty. Far from being somebody fasting. You're fasting, but you're just a character assassinator, rumor monger. You lie, you concoct talks, you peddle rumors in the society, and you claim to be fasting? No. So that is my introductory comment before the tafsir commences in earnest. Is that clear? Number one. Number two, a question came to the effect that a woman went to a village, and in the village war took place. A lot of women were killed. They were kind of genocidal killings. And the woman did not return back home. Her husband kept on waiting for her to return, to no avail. What was the conclusion? She died. That was the conclusive conclusion. She died in the inferno. Based on that, the parent of his wife took the hand of her younger sister and gave him in marriage. You get me? They say, well, we have recognized as a nice person. You lived well with our daughter. So take the younger sister of your late wife. Why late? Yeah, in the village, a lot of women were killed. They didn't see her for more than 1 month. So their conclusion was that she too died. After contracting marriage with the younger sister, a week later, the elder sister surfaced. She returned. Now the question is to you all. Who is now, when I say now, I mean now, N-O-W, who is now the legitimate wife of the man? The elder sister that was presumed to have died, or the current one that is enjoying currency? Which of the two is the one? You know what happened? Some student reminded us, yeah, Sheik, you asked us this question some years back. You didn't answer us. And I gave them the answer. Now I'm asking you, I mean you, the respected people here. Who is now the actual wife of the man? Please answer me before we move on. Yes, sir. How? Both of them? Astaghfirullah al-Azim. He said both of them. Then explain how. How? He is saying because both of them marriage did take place. That is his argument. Is there any different view from the Congress? Yes, brother. Wa alaikum salam. He is saying, Jazakallah khair, he is of the view that the first wife should be the bona fide wife. The second one should be sent packing. The reason is because the second wife, the marriage was constructed on assumption. That is his argument. Do you subscribe to his view? Do you accept it? So you seem to be saying his answer stands. But no, to save time. The younger sister is the rightful wife of the man now. Shall I say why or just go ahead? Okay. You know the reason? The elder sister was assumed to have died. And because of the efficacy of the assumption, the younger sister, her hand was given to him in marriage. If not because they felt she died, they wouldn't have contracted the marriage. Because it is haram to marry two sisters simultaneously. So because of this technicality, you assume the marriage of the elder sister just crumbled like the house of cards. Based on this, she is no longer the wife. The younger sister now is the bona fide wife now. Is that clear? For that simple reason. Because you cannot combine two sisters. Allah says in chapter number 4, وَأَن تَجْمَعُوا بَيْنَ الْأُخْتَيْنِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ. You cannot combine two sisters simultaneously, except what took place previously. I don't know if it is clear to you. The second question last. Somebody got out of masjid. He came across cellular phone like this one. Or let me say money. As you leave the masjid, your eyes descended on 50,000 naira. For example, lost by somebody, and you saw it. You either just leave it, it's not mine, I don't care, or you take it. Now the question is, if you take it, what are you going to do with that money? Any answer? Can you legally, legitimately, lawfully devote the money? Can you? You say no? Okay. What will you do with it? What will you do with the money? You look for the honor. But how? How? The scholars are saying, for example, if the place is believed to be frequented by people like a masjid, you take the money, go to the imam or somebody concerned in the masjid or in the community, tell him this money is lost by somebody and I came across it. Sir, take it, look for the owner. It should remain there for 1 year, for one consecutive year, looking for the owner. But how can I do that? Very simple. You should broadcast in the masjid where people congregate. We came across money. Don't mention the amount. Just say money. Otherwise, one guy may say it's mine. If you say 20,000 is 20K, it's mine. Just say money like this anonymously. If he says it is mine, you ask him amount. Yeah, I think it's 10,000. It's not your own. Get away. Ours is not 10,000. Ours, the amount, you don't disclose it. Now, if fortunately he says it's 20,000 naira, now he is getting closer to taking the money. Then next you ask him, of what denomination? Is it 200 naira note, murtala, you call murtala, or 1,000 notes, or 500? That is important. What is in your hand is just 1,000 naira. How many times? 20. And it tells you 500. It's not his own. But if the first question he answered correctly, the second correctly, the third, you can overlook it. Don't say, okay, tell me the number. Who knows the number of his money? Nobody. So if about 2/3 of the questions are answered, If he fails the third, you just overlook it. Because to err is human and to forgive is divine, as they say. So let's have the recitation. Barakallahu fikum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يوم ينفخ في الصور ونحشر المجرمين يومئذ زرقا يتخافتون بينهم إن لبثتم إلا عشرا.
Allah the Almighty, Allah the Exalted, Allah the Omnipotent, the Omniscient says in His glorious book Al-Quran, in this chapter number 20, verse number 102, Allah says, يوم ينفخ في الصور ونحشر المجرمين يومئذ زرقا يتخافتون بينهم إن لبثتم إلا عشرا. لا إله إلا الله. يوم, remember the day on which ينفخ في الصور. ينفخ في الصور. It will be blown in the trumpet. You know the trumpet? A sur. The trumpet is the apparatus used by the angel of An-Nafkha. His name is Israfil. He is the one to blow for the utter destruction of this material life. Some scholars are saying there are 3 nafakhat, 3 classes of blowing in the trumpet. Some are saying only 2. In chapter number 39, Allah says, Zumar, وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَصَعِقَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ ثُمَّ نُفِخَ فِي أُخْرَى فَإِذَا هُمْ قِيَامٌ يَنْظُرُونَ. So it will be blown in the trumpet so that everybody living will die, except those exempted. Who are those? Some are saying Jibril and Malakul Maut, the angel of death. Allahu Akbar. And the purified maidens in the paradise, Surul Ain. But all shall die. That is the first blowing in the trumpet. This material life will just be in disarray. So one of يخف في الصور يوم ينفخ في الصور ونحشر المجرمين, we shall gather, that's nahshur, we shall gather, we shall congregate al-mujrimin, the criminals, يومئذ, on that day, zurqa, totally dumbfounded, in a total disarray, with their eyes pale, zurqa. La ilaha illallah. Because they will witness an entirely different life. Before even that day, Ya Rab, the date of your date, you know, each and every human being has D-O-B and D-O-D. I have been saying this, that life is between D-O-B and D-O-D. D-O-B, the date of your birth. D-O-D, the date of your death. So you are between your D-O-B and D-O-D. And you are going to come across D-D-D, dropping down date. O-G-D-D, going down date. That is the reality. All of us here shall face it. We only ask Allah to make it easy, to make it lenient, to make it enjoyable. Do we say Amen? Of course. So Allah says, on that day, we shall congregate and assemble the criminals zurqa. dumbfounded, pale, in a total disarray. يَتَخَافَتُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ. They will be whispering, يَتَخَافَتُونَ, talking in surprised voices. Oh, what is happening? They will be saying, إِلَّا بِثُمْ إِلَّا عَشَرًا. You only tarried. You know, to tarry, that is to leave. He tarried on the face of the earth for only 20 years. They will be whispering, we only tarried for only 10 days. Imagine, somebody lived for donkey years in this life. But because of the severity of that day, they'll be saying, oh, illa bithum illa ashra. You tarried, you lived, but for only 10 days. Allahu Akbar. Then Allah says,
نحن أعلم بما يقولون إذ يقول أمثلهم طريقة إن لبثتم إلا يوما.
نحن أعلم بما يقولون إذ يقول أمثلهم طريقة إن لبثتم إلا يوما. Allah says, but we know better than what they are saying. They were just guessing. When Allah says نحن, we, what does that mean? Is Allah too? But he said we. How can you answer this? Somebody tells you, oh, you Muslims, you say Allah is one. Yeah, but Allah says we. He and who? In Arabic, there are two classes of plural. Plural of number and plural of honor. It's an honorific plural. It's not numerical. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. So when Allah says we, is to show His majestic power. It's an honor. Even in our local HAUSA tradition, you hear him say, Mu muka ce ayi kaza. But He's alone. Similarly, Arabs, when somebody goes to his father, he tells him, Ya abi ji'tu ilaykum wa ma ra'aytukum wa taraktukum. Imagine, my father, I came to you. But he didn't say ji'tu ilayka, he said ilaykum wa ma ra'aytukum, not wa ma ra'aytuka. As a mark of respect. That is why knowing Arabic adab is important in the art of Quranic exegesis. Is that clear? Okay. Allah says, Nahanu a'lam ma yaqulun. We are better informed on what they were saying. إِذْ يَقُولُ أَمْثَلُهُمْ طَرِيقَةً إِلَّا بِثُّمْ إِلَّا يَوْمًا. When the one closest to the truth will be saying, we only lived but for only one day in this world. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ
ويسألونك عن الجبال فقل ينسفها ربي نسفا فيذرها قاعا صفصفا لا ترى فيها عوجا ولا أمتا.
ويسألونك عن الجبال فقل ينسفها ربي نسفا. That is ayah number 105. They are asking you, Ya Rasulullah. That is وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ. That ka refers to the Prophet. يَسْأَلُونَكَ. People are asking, Ya Rasulullah, عَنِ الْجِبَالِ, concerning the mountains. Ya Rasulullah, on Al-Qiyamah, what will Allah do with mountains? Imagine. It's very wonderful. In Nigeria, who can tell me the tallest mountain you know? In Nigeria. Think about it. Zuma Rock? Is it the tallest? Is it the tallest, Zuma Rock? The elevation. The Kotarkoshi mountain in Gusau? Or the Bimawan in Gombe? Or Mambila? Or Nimlang in Jos, or those Anwase, Kwatarkoshi. You just know it, okay. That of Kano, Dala, is it mountain? Ours is not. But Allah is saying, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْجِبَالِ فَقُلْ يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا فَيَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا لَا تَرَى فِيهَا عِوَجًا وَلَا أَمْتًا. They are asking you, Ya Rasulullah, what will Allah do with the mountains on that day? Mountain will be just light, like a piece of paper. La ilaha illallah. Removed from its place. Whenever I pass by Zumaro, I look at it, I say, oh Allah Akbar. Oh, Allah is great, but the greatest. When did it start germinating? When? Was it eating something as to grow like this? Do you know the types of the things created contained by that mountain? Allah is great. But on Al-Qiyamah, they will be floating like just dust. وَإِذَا الْجِبَالُ نُصِفَتْ. So here Allah says, they ask you concerning the mountains, فَقُلْ, tell them, يَنْسِفُهَا رَبِّي نَسْفًا. My Lord will shell it, will render it like dust. That's a nasf. Nasfa, in the best way of shelling it like dust. فَيَذَرُهَا قَاعًا صَفْصَفًا. Allah will leave it barren, safsafan, level, flattened. لَا تَرَى فِيهَا عِوَجًا. You wouldn't see any sloppy part, وَلَا أَمْتَى, or just high heels. If Qiyamah were to be established and you were asked to come and discover your area in Kano, you cannot. Just an example to tell you the issue of Qiyamah is very, very, very serious. Did you read the next? Read it.
يومئذ يتبعون الداعي لا عوج له وخشعت الأصوات للرحمن فلا تسمع إلا همسا. يومئذ, on that day, that is يومئذ, on that day. Which day is that? Al-Qiyamah is one out of many, many names of that very day. It's called Al-Qiyam. It's called At-Taghabun. It's called Al-Haqqa. It's called Az-Zalzala. It's called Yawm Al-Tanadi. It's called up to 100 names. It is the dates that all the prophets were afraid of. If they feared it, then what about me, a poor me? What have you done in preparation of that very day? How many rakat do you have? How many qiyam layl have you been established? Have you been able to control your gazes, your utterances, your hand, your movement, your whatever? Have you? Do you give sadaqah? I mean, that is important. As a student, do you maintain the ethics of study? Come to class on time? Be busy with your studies because your parents sent you here to study, for example? Or do you just relax, wasting your precious times and hours watching movies? WhatsApp taking all your time? Instagram, Viber, Tango, House Party, BBM, more than hundreds today, taking you away from the way. You cannot have Quran being recited. Is that you? My sister, is that you? You remove your hijab because you feel you are civilized? The glitterings of lives are taken away. Remember,
Not all glitters that is gold, they say. May Allah guide us aright. So here, Allah says, يَوْمَ إِذٍ, that day, يَتَّبِعُونَ الدَّاعِيَ لَا عِوَجَ لَهُ. They will follow the caller, the beckoner. The angel will say, hey, rise up to meet your Lord. They will follow them. La iwajalahu, no meandering. You don't meander, you just follow the voice. Wa khasha'atil aswatu, is that correct? All the voices will be lowered, will be humbled. No any voice. Nobody can say, I am. Who are you? The wealthy, the poor, the sheikh, the tilmid, male, female. Oh, Ya Allah. In fact, people will be resurrected naked. Aisha said, Ya Rasulullah, men and women on that day, he said, oh ye daughter of Abi Quhafa, the temerity, the severity of the day is beyond anybody thinking of a woman of. لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ. So let's get ready. Give sadaqah on every day. Try. In a hadith, people will be under the shade of their sadaqah before decision is taken. One scholar said, well, when I read about the beauty of giving sadaqah, even an onion that I buy for my wife, I tear the two parts. I give her a sadaqah because of that day. That day, Yawma Idin. Now, it's time to give sadaqah. It's Ramadan. Here, give it to Al-Majri. Cook food. Give people during breaking the fast. Don't tell me, no, I live in GRA, I am important. Important, you'll go to the grave. Your importance lies in obeying Allah the Almighty, as an example. So all the voices will be lowered, will be humble. Lirrahman, in the presence of Allah the most gracious. Nobody will say, Your Excellency, please take your seat here. Your Honorable, Ya Fadilati Sheikh, gone. Your deed actualizes you. Period. So let's do something and control your anger, please. It's very important. If somebody angers you, say, okay, I have forgiven you. Very beautiful. It makes your scale weighty. But it's very difficult, you know. Maintain amana. Don't prove to be unreliable in amana keeping. My sister, as a wife, maintain the honor of your husband. Do not expose his nakedness. You have your friend, girl, woman comes to you, oh Allah, we have been suffering for all these days. You can see me so skinny. It doesn't fit me. I mean, just like you are just kind of killing yourself. Your children, give them proper training. Don't waste your time in watching bad things. Try to show your kids good behavior. Be truthful. Be humble. You as a husband, I am referring to you, the husband. Do not abuse your wife. Don't beat her. She is your friend by your side. Allahu Akbar. She is a sahibu bil jam. My friend, young man, you want to get married, look for the right life partner. All in preparation for Yawma in that very day. Because a good wife saves you a lot of trouble. You too, my sister, look for a good man, not because of his wealth, his anatomical structure or whatever, but his God consciousness should be number one on the item. But today, marriage, na money maker. They say, if you get money, then God give you. If you not get time, But be very careful now. Try to look for the good man to be the father of your children. You too should look for the right woman to be the mother of your kids. All in preparation for that video. You leaders, lead people with compassion, with understanding. As a leader, as a university, in a hospital, in a college, in a masjid, be lenient, be understanding, be humble. Carry people along according to your ability. Be accessible. Be tolerant, but not stupid. Be firm, but not stupid. Because of that very day, Allah says, وَخَشَعَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ. All the voices will be lowered, will be humble in the presence of the most gracious. فَلَا تَسْمَوْ إِلَّا هَمْسًا. Nothing will be heard but the sound of the legs. Just sound of the movement. The echoing nature, because the multitude nature of the people, the creature of that is Hamsa. All are silent. Nobody talks. Allah says, Liman al-mulku al-yawm. Today, who has the power? Who has the dominion? Who can talk? Oh. Ya Allah. May Allah make it easy for all of us. يومئذ
يومئذ لا تنفع الشفاعة إلا من أذن له الرحمن ورضي له قولا يعلم ما بين أيديهم وما خلفهم ولا يحيطون به علما.
يومئذ, on that day, لا تنفع الشفاعة, intercession will not be effectual, will not avail anybody anything. You know intercession? Ash-shafa'a. You know ash-shafa'a is a preeminent position to be given to the prophets. Even those who fear Allah will intercede as well. Today in the world, your position can buy you something. In the human community, take this card, go to the vice president, go to the governor, go to commissioner, go to XYZ. I'm the one talking. They respect it. That is shafa'ah. But on Al-Qiyamah, nobody has that position except those exempted. The leader of those to intercede is Prophet Muhammad. For you to have his intercession, you have to look at how you obey him here. Buy it from now. So Allah says, يَوْمَئِذٍ, on that very day, لَا تَنْفَعُ الشَّفَاءَ, intercession will not benefit nobody. إِلَّا مَنْ أَذَلُ الرَّحْمَنِ, except the one that Allah gives him permission. وَرَضِيَ لَهُ قَوْلًا, and Allah accepts and agrees for him to utter something. So we believe a shafa is there. Then Allah says, يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِهِ إِلْمًا. Allah knows what is before them and behind them. They can never circumscribe Allah in terms of knowledge. I think we stop here. I want the remaining hours to be filled up with questions and interactive session. Inshallah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, we stop in here. That is ayah 110 Tomorrow, the Tafseer session will not hold because I have an emergency trip outside Kano. But inshallah ta'ala, next day, subsequent on Wednesday, is going to be. So, but tomorrow, the HAUSA one will take place, inshallah ta'ala. But that of English here, tomorrow will not hold, just to keep you in notice. Inshallah tabaraka wa ta'ala, we continue on Wednesday. So, I will open the gates for Q&A session to complete the margin we have in terms of time. Barakallahu fikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah. Your question. Do you have a written one? Okay. Yes. If you have any question or any clarification looking for it, then the floor is open. Faddal. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One thing.
There was a question you read day before yesterday regarding money, collecting new naira notes and having additional money to give old naira notes.
Yeah.
You said you are answering the question next day. So why answer I think you answer a particular aspect of the question?
Yeah, I think we have spoken about some of the illegitimate monetary transaction that take place today. Somebody goes to a bank, for example, to withdraw, let me say 100,000 naira, new note, new, brand new, mint. So he tells somebody, whoever that needs this note new, let him come. Let him collect this new note. But in place of it, he's going to give me 105,000 naira. Old notes. Why? Because what is giving you a new note? That's the only reason. You own an old. And I said, this is haram. It's a pure example of haram. Because both new notes and old note, they carry all same purchasing capacity according to economics. All right? You can't tell me if you go to any bank or market, just because your naira is new, the price is going to be slashed down. No. So that is haram, completely haram. If somebody, that is how he earns his livelihood, he's just earning it on very something stinking and haram, and it is punishable. Hope it is clear. Yes. Faddal. Wa alaikum assalam. About? No.
There is another verse Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says,
Sun Allah. That is Surah An-Naml. وَتَرَى الْجِبَالَ تَعْصَبُهَا جَامِدًا. Allah says you will see mountain on that day. You assume it to be just jamida. That is stick in one place. But it is in motion. It is flying like a paper. You assume it to be just static in one place. It is not. Because of the severity of that day, it is moving like a dust. But you assume it is just still. It's not. It is moving. All to tell you again, that day is of this nature that everything on that day is going to be totally changed. In fact, يَوْمَ تُبَدَّلُ الْأَرْضُ غَيْرَ الْأَرْضِ. It is a day when even the earth will be changed. Allah will establish judgment on virgin land. He will say, this land I have been disobeyed. Zina was committed here. Blood spilled. Stealing committed. Is going to be entirely fresh land to signify justice that very day. So let's all get ready for that very day. Through fearing Allah the Almighty. And in so doing, try to do what is possible. Nobody asks you to be like an angel. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. So that is in addition to the ayah you have quoted. Barakallahu fikum. Yes, yes. I beg your pardon? I beg your pardon.
Will someone be held responsible for death judgment if he collects the loan that is not paying the interest and is not going to pay the interest? Will he be held responsible?
I didn't hear him well. It's not audible, your voice, brother. Can somebody be... Yes, come closer. Jazakallah khairan.
Will someone be held responsible for death judgment
Can somebody be held responsible on their judgment?
if he collects
If he collects
a loan that is not
a loan,
even if he's not willing to pay the interest, like it's happening in this country. Someone is according to what is next in the religion.
can somebody be held responsible if he collects loan from a bank? The loan, does it bear interest or just with zero interest? It bears interest. Okay. Now, can somebody be responsible for that? We have to look at the circumstances surrounding the taking. If somebody is compelled, is pushed to the wall by the necessity, then in that case, the ulama are saying, ad-darura tubihul mahdura. Necessity knows no law. But what is necessity? He is in a rented house and the landlord tries to humiliate him by pushing out, eviction, throw him away with his family just in the open. He has a son, a father in the hospital. He cannot set the bill of medical bill in the hospital. These are instances of what ad-darura. Nobody comes to his assistance. Bank say, okay, come, take it, but there is interest. He says, haram, okay, either take it, leave it. That is how you can imagine darura. Not because, oh, my house is now old, I want to build a new one. So for that, you take interest, it's not darura. Or I have not eaten meat. Meat. So you go to the bank, take loan for meat, for zire, just because of nama, sekechi zaki. That is not darura, man. As an example. But you know what? In Nigeria, we seem to be of lackadaisical behavior. We refuse to go to the lawmakers and tell them we are Nigerians. We are constitutionally equipped and protected to look for any loan from government without interest. Other parts that take it, let them take it, but don't give it. It's our right to be given with zero interest. But we don't talk. We keep quiet. Lawmakers are silent. Scholars seldom talk about it. So they have their field day. Now our people are being forced to take loan with interest. I don't know if that can be a darura. It cannot. But if you are come by necessity, like a student want to finance his education, he's in the final year, he doesn't have money to offset the bill. He goes and borrows from banking system, conventional banking system, which attract interest. If it is darura, okay. Otherwise, one is going to be responsible. Those who take riba, on Al-Qiyamah will rise from their grave like having epilepsy. You know epilepsy? Yeah, perpadiaco, like that. Allah says in Quran 2:275, الذين يأكلون الربا لا يقومون إلا كما يقوم الذي يتخبطه الشيطان من المس ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا فمن جاءه موعظة من ربي فانتهى فله ما سلف وأمره إلى الله. To the end of it, Quran 2:75. Those who devour riba will easily be discovered with epileptic fit that day. Will you like it? Until and unless there is pushing necessity. Wallahu a'lam wa bihi tawfiq. Now, brother.
Is there a penalty for a Muslim who escorts his a non-Muslim brothers to the grave of non-Muslim
Is there sin to be recorded against a Muslim accompanying? Did I get you correctly? Right. To accompany his, you say, brother, a non-Muslim friend to the graveyard to bury a non-Muslim. Okay, to pray for him. The one to pray on a Muslim or a kafir?
The Muslim do not pray for him, it's just the Christians that pray for him.
But you accompany them.
Yes.
Okay, now. You see, if you accompany a non-Muslim to go to the graveyard to pray for his own dead friend and brother, then we want to ask you, as a Muslim, what is the basis of what you do? Will you be able to answer it? What is the foundational basis for going? Because whatever you do, you should have your own basis for doing it. I go there for reason X, Y, Z, for ABCD. With that reason, you will be in a hot soup. So I wouldn't advise that to be done. Tell your Christian friend, hey, Mr. Jacob, Mr. Maxwell, I have a red line. I can't cross it. I will not go. Our friendship continues, but I have my red line. If your honor is that, please tell me that. But the problem is that we want to be just nominal Muslims. We want to be apologetic Muslims. I don't want to anger him. You anger Allah? Tell him I cannot go. If you reach burying place for non-Muslim, bashirhum binar, says the Prophet ﷺ. So why do you go? If that is your attitude day in, day out, your mind will become softened. And subsequently and consequently, you'll be something quite different. Let's be watchful. Next question. Wa alaikum salam. We've been talking about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, this coin. And we have listened to scholarly presentation, globally. Like Dr. Al-Gharghawi in Qatar talked about it. Sheik Muhammad Al-Munajjid talked about it. Please, but allow me to get more composed, to tell you more about it. But I'll just give you just few points. Number one, Jazakumullah khaira. For any money to be money, there are conditions. Condition number one, for any item to be monetized, it has to be recognized by a country as its legal tender. Get it? In Nigeria, what is our legal tender? Is it Bitcoin? Is it crypto money? What I know, only two countries, nations across the world recognize it as money: Japan and Germany. America condemns it. The mother of civilization, they say. If you go to Kurmi Market in Kano, or our neighbors here, Taroni, will you say, give me albasa for 1 Bitcoin? The guy doesn't even know what you're talking about. So they are saying, it's not money. Take it just as a commodity that is marketable. People need to be doctored, need to be educated primarily before you can make it money. But there are a lot of dubious behavior done by some people, some 419 people. Be careful. This is just introductory. When maybe on Wednesday, if we're back, maybe by the grace of Allah, we say more about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I hope it is clear to you. I think we're going to take the last question. Alaikum salam. It's haram. It's haram. Did you hear what he said? Some telecommunication houses like empty and they say you can borrow. Does it? If you borrow your money, you want, okay, your credit card, call credit expired. They say you can borrow. You borrow for 1,500 worth of call credit. By the time you recharge 2,000, they're gonna take it, isn't it? Take something. What they are taking is riba. It's riba. Oh yeah, because according to Islamic spirit, if you lend me, you are the lender, I am the borrower. The borrower is at the weaker side. You are stronger. That's the expectation. There should be humanitarian gesture. The basis of lending abroad is based on humanity. Now you want to exploit my weakness. You are charging. It is haram. Those telling you, well, it is because they have worked for you. It is not working for you. If somebody from AKTH here, for example, lends money to somebody, let's say in Minjibir, outside Kano, he said, okay, I am sending my boy to Minjibir to give you the money you want from me. It's 200,000 naira. My son is going to give you the money. But when you pay me back, you give me 205,000 naira. Tell me the status of that 5,000 naira. Lawful or unlawful? Unlawful. But somebody tells you, but he has worked for me. The work is I send my boy to, so he has rendered service to me. He said, look, that is haram. That is the excuse somebody is telling you they have worked for you. And riba is not on commodity. Who tells you? Riba is not only on physical cash. If somebody gives you one tube of yam produced in Mina, for example, in Jalingo, in Boko, where they produce yam, he tells you take one tube of yam, give me 2 of the same products produced in Zaria. This is not money, but it's riba. It's called riba al-fadl, the riba of superiority. So I am saying that thing you are taking is not lawful. I better remain without credit call than taking it because it's haram. They do it, they exploit people, and even the services are very poor. So you are helping them in aggravating a kind of a worsening situation. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا شر ما قضيت لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد والسلام عليكم